What's going on, guys? It's me, Tim, and this is the last day in the market as Friday is going to be closed. Now in this video, I did want to look at Indi Semiconductor. This for me is a very high conviction stock, and on my channel these Indi videos quite often get overlooked. People aren't really looking for Indi like they are looking for CleanSpark or looking for Voyager, things like that, but I did want to talk about Indi. I do have high conviction in it, and to me this is a small cap that you don't want to sleep on. In a second here, I'm going to look over the chart. We're going to look at a couple things on their investor presentation, and I'm just going to give you my general thoughts on Indi, INDI stock. Now if you like these videos, consider hitting the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. I definitely appreciate all your support. Check out the links down below to some stocks and cryptos, and consider joining my membership for $2 a month to support the channel. Alright, now let's give Indi Semiconductor a look here. And first off, just briefly looking at Indi Semiconductor on Google here, you'll see they started as a SPAC. This was THBR Thunderbridge acquisition. It came out in 2020, got some hype, pulled back, ran nearly to $16 before pulling back about 60% all the way down to roughly $9 area, $8 area. And ever since it hit its May 11 lows, it has been on a slow and steady upward trajectory with a little bit of chop along the way, and I'll show you more of that on the chart here. But this is a $1.5 billion market cap company, and I personally think this is way less risk than a lot of the other small caps I talk about. Indi actually has a profitability outlook. They do expect by the end of 2023 to be profitable, and I don't doubt these execs for 1 second. And speaking of the execs, I did want to show you what we're looking at here. I've brought this up before in past Indi videos, but I do want to remind you that these are some of the best execs that I've ever seen on any small cap out there. You'll see these ones that have green circles here. These are the founders, and these guys have actually been together for over 2 decades in the semiconductor industry. They previously ran a company called Axiom that was later bought out by Skyworks. But we've got all kinds of experience across the board. We've got some that have experience from Broadcom, some that of course have experience from Skyworks, Caltech, Cirrus Logic, Motorola. I mean, the list goes on and on. And to me, these execs clearly know what they're doing. And throughout Indi's lifespan here, they've been continuing to make very wise acquisitions. And you'll see some of these execs from their acquired businesses. We have Analog Devices. This is one company that Indi did acquire. And in a second here, I'll go over some of their other recent acquisitions. But they've made quite a few acquisitions ever since they became a public company and got out of being a SPAC. Now I'll leave everything down below for you so you can look over it all yourself. But this is one of the companies I first talked about when I started my YouTube channel. And I remember first off talking about Indi and this recent acquisition at the time of Teraction. But they've just been all over the place making wise acquisitions. They recently acquired Geo, which they said to look at in the earnings call. They said look at that company as Indi when it first came out of being a SPAC. You know, growing revenue, making right around 8 million or so, but growing revenue. And that's what we're going to see with Geo. And hopefully it will turn out to be a very wise investment, wise acquisition. And here's a look at Geo. It's headquartered in San Jose. They have 83 employees, 100 patents. And as said in the call, they have a strong presence in Japan and Korea. And this gives Indi a chance to get into that market because they have said that it's very hard to get into that market. And them acquiring Geo is one way that they were able to do that. But there's definitely a lot more to look at on this investor relations presentation thing here. But I also wanted to show you one more thing before we look at the chart. And this is a list of the auto manufacturers that they supply chips to. And you might notice that this list has changed quite a bit since I last looked over it. We recently added NIO here. We've got BYD. We've got XPeng, Li Auto, all kinds of random names I haven't even heard about, but they have quite a vast list of auto manufacturers from all kinds of different regions. And they are in a massively growing industry with more and more chips, more and more radar solutions, LiDAR solutions, sensors, things that Indi covers, all needing to be in vehicles, even more so as time goes on. The cost per vehicle of adding these chips is going to continue to grow as the number of chips needed is going to continue to grow. But to me, Indi is definitely an exciting company to be a part of, and I think it's definitely worth a position in the portfolio. I do believe Indi is definitely one to not sleep on, but I'm definitely a huge fan of Indi Semiconductor. And to me, this is a relatively low risk play. While yes, they aren't profitable just yet, they do expect profitability, and I have every reason not to doubt the execs here. Now, I did want to bring up the chart here, guys, and show you that it was in this long sideways trend, just a crab motion, chop, a whole lot of chop. And then we finally broke out of it. We did see a golden cross. We continued pushing and started recently pulling back. We did break this kind of general uptrend we were in. And now it's a matter of seeing where we level out. Do we use this previous resistance as a support? I personally think we can see that. And if not, we're going to likely test the 200 MA. But I did want to show you that their next quarter, they're expecting 40 million. And these guys have extremely consistent revenue growth. And, you know, looking back, when I first talked about these guys, they were right around the $8 million area. Now they're nearly pulling in $40 million, or they're expected to pull in $40 million this upcoming earnings report. And, you know, I'm very excited for this company. Currently, I do have shares and I also have warrants. I think they're a very low cost entry, because you can buy those warrants for just a couple of dollars, giving you the opportunity down the road to then purchase shares at an $11.50 strike price. But if you're curious about warrants, feel free to ask me down below. But looking at the stock, I do still think, even as a stock price, it is very worth getting into. Even though we may come back, test some lower levels, I personally think it's a very easy play for me, and time will tell if I'm right or wrong. But thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you. Let me know what you think about Indi Semiconductor. I think of all the stocks I talk about, this is a relatively low risk play, despite the fact that it is not profitable yet. But they have some of the most consistent revenue growth I've seen, the most competent execs that I've seen, and they are in a massively growing industry. And as I said, they are expecting profitability by the back half of this year. But thanks as always, guys, for watching, and I'll catch you later.